full season, full like amount of games.
Well, I mean, although this team isn't projected to win a whole lot of games this year, that doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be any up and coming players to watch, right? So, we've already mentioned it that fall camp starts today. And, every year it seems like there's one or two guys that show out in camp and really make a name for themselves. Last year it was Christian Roland Wallace. The year before that, it was Jalen Harris. So, every year in camp, there's always that one or two guys. So, what do you think about the camp this year? Do you think there's any guys that will break out? And, who's a guy to watch in camp this year?
The guy getting back to the offense that could take this offense to another level is Booby Curry. That guy is just a crazy playmaker. Like his size, 6'2", like that guy can catch jump balls, like catch balls down the field. Like that guy has huge potential, I believe. And last season, like he only had like 6 catches, barely played. Like I think with a bigger role, I mean, I think that guy could be like one of the biggest contributors on this team and offense, along with Grant Goodell and some of the running backs.
Yeah, I actually really like Booby Curry a lot. I think what kind of trumped his freshman season was, he was injured at the beginning of the year, so I think he wasn't able to get enough reps to really mold into a starting role and really get himself into the wide receiver rotation. So I don't really consider his freshman season a bust just because he got hurt. It was unfortunate to see him get hurt because you fall behind, you don't get those reps, right? But I think a guy for me to watch is on the other side of the ball is Reagan Terry. I mean, freshman out of Florence, Arizona. I mean, I feel like this guy is going to be one of those dudes where it's like you watch the preseason camp and he's going to stick out like a sore thumb when you see him on the field, right? I mean, he's 6'4", 289 pounds. I mean, what an animal, right? Like he gained 40 pounds in the offseason. I mean, his best trait, like the hype around him as a player and as a recruit was his pass rushing ability. So, I mean, now that he's 289 pounds, you can move him to nose tackle and you could help with the run game. You can also move him to defensive end for that pass rushing ability. I mean, he's got really long arms. So, I mean, putting him at end would be quite the mismatch, I think. So, he's going to be an awesome player to watch. So, I really like Reagan Terry.
Yeah, Terry. Yeah, when I like a few weeks ago, a month, whatever, when we saw like the weight changes and like all that, like all the players changes, like seeing him gain 40 pounds, like that's huge. I mean, yeah, like you said, being a mismatch on the line is just going to be huge. I mean, for this team when they don't have a lot of playmakers on that side to start.
Yeah, Arizona was like one of the worst teams in pass rushing, but I think they were like dead last, like in the entire NCAA, like Division I, Power 5, like in sacks. So like they need help on that D line. So maybe Jalen Harris and Reagan Terry can step up and make something happen on that line. I also really like Frank Brown and Jalen John as well. Frank Brown in particular, I mean, he could be one of those guys where he steps in right away and makes an impact simply just because of his versatility, right? Like he's listed as a running back, but he's also played slot receiver in high school as well. So, I mean, after the loss of Brendan Schooler, I think there's a real chance where we could see him lined up at slot receiver and catching balls out of the backfield for Arizona because J.J. Taylor was used as that guy in the passing game last year. So that's 2 voids Arizona has to fill now. And Frank Brown might kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. I think you can use him as a pass-catching back and at slot receiver. So I think you can slot him right in. He might be an interesting player to watch, and I'll be interested to see where they line him up in the depth chart and if he gets any reps,
Yeah, I love Frank Brown. I love him. He's a very exciting player. And like you said, like I hope they use like these. They have a lot of talented young running backs. Like their offense, they have a lot of talented guys, and I hope they use a lot of these young running backs. Like you said, Jalen John. Like I hope they use these guys like as like slot receivers, just getting them the ball, pass catching. Like that's what they need, like to push this offense forward. You need the more playmakers, the better.
Yeah, the running back situation for me could be a real game changer. Like we've talked about it before. Like we've raved about our running back core before, but like you're like 6 guys deep at that position. Like why not just rotate everybody in and out? Like it'll screw off the defenses so much. Like Jalen John is 222 pounds. Like that's a human wrecking ball right there. Like you could use him in the goal line. Nathan Tilford was great in the goal line as well. So now you've got 2 guys. You can use Gary Brightwell in the goal line as well. Like there's just so many options with that running back core. So I would love to see. That's why I'm like really excited for fall camp. I want to see kind of how the depth chart lines up and who they really start to use. And I like you said, I really do hope that Arizona takes advantage of these running backs. And in a 7-game season, why not just like throw some guys out there? It's week 5, week 6, and you're 2-4. Like, why not give some carries to Frank Brown? Like, why not, right? Like, I really want them to use all those running backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like Nathan Tilford, as you mentioned. He's a very good young player, and I think they're just Kevin Sumlin's gonna take just like who breaks out in camp, like we're talking about, like because there's so many guys, and the reality is they're not all gonna get reps, but it's gonna be who can catch the ball, like because Gary Brightwell's gonna, I think he's gonna be like he's gonna get the majority of the carries, but so it's gonna be under him and in the pass catching game, like who can make that jump to that next level. And like a lot of these guys are young, so like behind Brightwell. So for the years coming, I mean, we have some young players to look forward to.
I want to mention one more guy. I really, this was a dude that caught my eye before, back in spring camp. Before the pandemic had shut down the spring ball activities. But I want you guys to watch out for Stacy Marshall. He's a junior tight end out of Montgomery, Alabama. I mean, the reason why he's so interesting to me is he's 6'5", 238 pounds. Like that is a super interesting build for a tight end. Like that's a mismatch no matter who you put on him, right? Like you put a linebacker on him, oh, you're 6'5", I'm going to catch this ball over you. Oh, you're going to put a slot corner on me, I'm going to catch this ball over you too. Like I like that matchup. My only concern is that Arizona hates tight ends. Like they do not use their tight ends. It's like a religion. It's like against Noel Mazzoni's religion to like use a tight end in his offense. Like I don't know what that's about. Like I remember there was that 4-star tight end that committed to Arizona, and like I was just thinking like, why would you do that to yourself? Like if you're a talented tight end, why are you coming to Arizona? We don't use tight ends here. So like I really want to see us go away from that and really use the tight ends, because I think Stacy Marshall could be an interesting, like it could be that wild card play at that tight end position. So I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, that's how you open up the offense in football. You gotta get a big tight end and just send them with like a curl route over the middle, and yeah, like that's how you gain yards and switch it up. I mean, yeah, I think they should use tight ends. It's weird why the past few years they haven't.
They just view the tight end as an extra blocker out there, and it drives me nuts because it really does open up the offense.